mist on the mountain's brow, whispers from long ago. Hear the song of the city calling you to the sea. The ancient kings return, a timeless fire burns. The heart of air calls beyond the waterfalls.
All right, folks, pull up a chair there. I want to bring you to a place not too far from me. Fenagh, near Ballinamore in County Leitrim. If you know the area at all, you'll know it's a place where the land holds on to its memories. And tonight's story, well, it's one of those memories. This isn't just a ghost story. It's a story about the old ground, the old saints, and the things that walk when the rest of us are asleep. You might look at Fenagh Abbey today and see a ruin, stones leaning on each other, grass growing where monks once prayed. But long ago, it was one of the first great centres of learning in all of Europe. Monks travelled from Scotland, Wales, and far beyond to study under St. Keelan, the founder of the monastery. In the old manuscripts, the Book of Fenagh and the rest, they say St. Keelan once stood before Niall of the 9 hostages, the High King of Ireland. Oaths were made in those days, oaths between kings and monks, and maybe between the living and something older. And here's something the locals still whisper. There's a tunnel under the Abbey, a long stone passageway leading somewhere into the village. Some say the lake, some say an old fort, some say a place no map ever dared to name. But everyone agrees on one thing. Whatever travels that tunnel isn't meant for the living. Now let me tell you about Máirtín O'Rourke, a widower, a father, a man who worked hard and slept light, like many around here. One cold autumn night, one of his cows slipped her tether and wandered off. And you know yourself, a cow is money, milk, and winter survival. So Máirtín grabbed his lantern and went looking. And wouldn't you know it, the tracks led straight toward the Abbey. On the road he met Bríd McGorverin, shawl tied around her shoulders, eyes sharp as ever. She says to him, "Leave it till morning, Máirtín. Nothing good walks the Abbey grounds at night." He tries to laugh it off. "It's only a cow, Bridge." But she steps closer. St. Keelan warned the monks never to cross that ground after dark. And mind yourself near the tunnel, a guardian walks tonight. Máirtín frowns. A guardian. And she nods. A spirit who's always seen looking behind him. Not because he's afraid, but because he remembers what follows him. Máirtín keeps going. Because what else can a man do? The moon is thin, the grass is wet, and the Abbey rises ahead of him like the ribs of some ancient beast. He finds the cow easily, too easily. She's standing stiff beside the graveyard wall, staring into the ruins. And then he sees it, a figure in the doorway of the Abbey, still facing away, head slightly turned like he's listening for something behind him. Máirtín calls out. No answer. He steps closer. The figure turns, slowly, cautiously, not twisted or unnatural, just wary. Like someone who knows there's something behind him worth fearing. And Máirtín sees the face. It's his brother. Dead these 5 years, but the eyes, they're not his brother's eyes, they're older. Like something ancient is looking out through them. The figure raises a hand. Not to greet him, not to threaten him, but to warn him. A gesture that says, "You shouldn't be here. Not tonight. Not near the tunnel." And then Máirtín hears it. From deep beneath the Abbey, a sound like stone sliding over stone. Slow, heavy, deliberate. Something moving through the earth. Something following the guardian. Máirtín grabs the cow's rope and runs. He doesn't look back. He doesn't need to. He can feel the guardian's eyes on him, not angry, but pleading. As he reaches the road, he hears one last sound behind him. A soft exhale, like a sigh from deep underground. The tunnel settling. or something returning to it. Máirtín makes it home shaking. For days he barely speaks. When he finally does, he says, only this. St. Keelan built the Abbey for a reason, and the tunnel, it's not empty. The guardian looks behind him because something follows him still. He never crossed the Abbey grounds again, not even in daylight. And that's the story, my friends. Not of a ghost, but of something older. A protector, a warning, a reminder. There are places in County Leitrim where the night belongs to itself. And if you step into them uninvited, the night may show you what it sees, and you'll never see the world the same way again. Thanks for listening, and may the road rise to meet you, unless it's the old bog road. Bye for now.
Where ancient spirits softly tread, and mossy stones hold what was said. A whispered tale upon the breeze, through haunted wells and sacred trees. The signal from the old lands calls, the bog signal speeds.